Hi everybody, my name is Adam Meyer. I'm back with another video, and today we're going to go over the ES and what happened in today's market. So let's just get into it quick. So I'm going to start out with the higher time frame projections that I have here. Just this part of the video is going to be the projections of where I see them going, and then I'm going to do the review from today's trading. Anyways, the other day I mentioned on one of the reviews that we are looking at this 2-day volume imbalance here on the 2-day time frame. And then this could possibly act as a form of support to then bring price up higher within this range. And this also coincides with the Federal Reserve balance sheet that we've seen inject liquidity into basically the overall market. They're saying it's not going to increase inflation, but it's just there for the banks. But I mean, if you look at the trends from all of COVID, and even before, like usually when money's pumped into the system, markets do go up. So this is something to be aware of as traders, as basically investors, because I love investing, and I mean, it's a lot simpler than trading itself. So it's good to keep these fundamental analysis in check when we are investing as long-term investors and also traders. So it's just something we keep in mind in the back of our heads. It's good to know so we're not living under a rock. So we kind of know what's going on in the economy. Getting back into trading here for the projections of what's going on. We are seeing this 2-day volume imbalance getting rejected right here down below this wick as well. And this could be a catalyst to then move price up. And we also, on the daily time frame, we also have the SIBI that was right here from this wick to this wick. I'll pull this up real quick. We have the SIBI, and that could act as a form of support or resistance depending on what's going on. But right now we are starting to see price work its way up within this area here. So I got my eyes on this rejection block up in here. So what's a rejection block? It's the open and close of these candles, and if price gets up there, we're going to see how it reacts in that range, or if it wants to go higher up within there as well, or if it wants to just distribute and then work its way down lower again. We also have here in the 4-hour time frame this wick that's up within here. So if we measure 50% of this wick, I actually I posted on Jim Cramer with US 30. Similar kind of situation of like, okay, what if we get in this wick and then it starts to fold over and we come back down within this area, which is possible as well. You never know. It is Friday, so next week something happens. I mean, it is what it is. But long-term investing, I mean, I'm in long-term. It is what it is. I always think overall, over time, price will work up higher. But in the short term, we have a lot of different analysis that can happen within here. But since we are seeing some really big bullish rejection here on the daily time frame, big bullish closure, if we close up in here and keep closing higher even next week on daily candles, I'm looking for higher prices. But if we start to fold over, I'll be looking for lower prices within there. So I'm going to keep this area in mind, the middle of this 4-hour wick, to see what happens within here. And then now going down here to the 1 hour where we work our way down within here. And now we're working up into this higher range within the SIBI that's up here on the 1-hour SIBI. All right, so this morning it's like, okay, what are we going to see here in price? Overnight we saw price work our way down within this area. And then it started to curve over down within this area. Hit the BISI, and I was like, okay, maybe we could come up in here and reject, kind of like yesterday. I wanted to see it come up here, reject, and come down lower. But it went up even higher, then came down. But today, it came up, rejected, just consolidated. There was a big move in London, and what do you do after a big move in London? You can expect less in the morning session, okay? So that was that this morning, and then it did not start to retrace down. Over here on the, let's go to the 15-minute. Let's go to the 15-minute. Let's give a good explanation here. So we come up 1, 2, 3 times in this point of interest, and it started to drop. There's a short-term wick here. And you can even go over to the 3 charts here. We all have the same wick within that area, okay? You can see that there's SMT divergence with NASDAQ, okay? So we come up 1, 2, 3, and then we start to shift lower. And then notice how NASDAQ hit the low here, but ES and YM made the higher low. And it took out internal liquidity from this low here. You see that? The internal low was taken here from here, while this made the lower low. And that's basically what I was like targeting myself for my personal trades. So getting back over here into the 15-minute time frame on ES, we start to see these closures come in, and then also this 5-minute candle. This is what I was looking at here within my group chat. I was mentioning within the group chat, notice this 5-minute gap that's within here. So we have this nice bullish move up into our point of interest again. I was like, watch this gap within here. I was watching this gap within here, and within 10:50 to 11:10 is when the macro kicks in, because we had the big move in London. Expect some consolidation, and if you get a run and it's a good setup, I mean, I take the trade. But if it starts to show consolidation and not really good price action, I'm going to expect a high resistance liquidity run. So I'm really going to look for good entries, really be patient in something like this, and target short-term lows and really look at the SMT divergence. So we were looking at this gap within here. Price came up and it rejected off the 15-minute order block. If you go to the 15-minute, you see this order block right here. So it rejected off the order block, and then we started to trade down lower. And within that area, I took my short. Let me pull it up real quick. I took my short. I'm going to bring this over. Within that area, as you can tell, price traded down. After hitting this high, traded down, and I'm looking within here to short within there to take down below this low. I really wanted to come down lower. I wanted it to reach down within here into that 4-hour wick that was down within there. That's the 50%. But since there was SMT on NASDAQ, I took most of the trade off because I think there was still a possibility of price reversing and going back higher, which it ended up doing. I did not take the buy, even though there was a buy situation that did play out where it broke up again. Retested here. We had a gap up there for a short-term target, and then it came back up and rallied up through the lunch session, which I did not take a part of. The only trade I took today was the short that was right here, and I had to be really patient with it, sticking with my model entry. So we go over here of what really happened. It traded down below, and then we had our SIBI within there on the 30-second time frame using this breaker. So A, we shifted down after taking the highs, and then we came up, took internal liquidity. B, we're in our macro time frame from 10:50 to 11:10, and then we have the breakdown. Just hit the breaker, trades down, hits the low. There's our drawn liquidity. That's what I was looking at within there. And similar situation, boom, 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 boom. We came up, hit our point of interest, dropped down, hit our breaker, comes down towards the low. That's what I was looking at there. So there we go. We got the entries and then the exit, and the rest did hit break even on that position there. But I was really just battling myself and just sticking with my emotions. It's okay to be bored. And I'm going back through my ICT notes, and I'm looking at some of them that I wrote down. I was like, okay, a successful trader will be formed when there is times of boredom. When you are bored and you want to press a button and you don't press a button, that's when successful traders are born. You know what I mean? That's when they are formed. That's when they're molded. That's when it is. And same with the afternoon session. It was kind of choppy up within here. So similar situation. I was looking at the 1-hour rejection block within here. So this 1-hour rejection block came in, and I was looking at this area. Do we want to react here and go lower and hit the lunchtime lows with all the stop losses, or do we want to go higher? So we hit the rejection block, and after I hit the rejection block, I did not necessarily want to be in anything. I noticed that we had the 1-hour gap within here, this SIBI that's sitting up in this area. So the 15-minute was closing bullish within here. As you can tell, it came back down within this area, and we do have these areas marked up in here, and then the SIBI possibly to be met. I did not personally like it since it hits the rejection block, and I was like, okay, it's not highly probable. I'm just going to watch price. I'm over there reading my notes, reviewing everything, writing notes down. But I noticed here on the 5-minute, the 5-minute time frame had this volume imbalance right here. So we came down in the volume imbalance, and it starts to reject this volume imbalance. And you can even tell here on the 15-minute we had the volume imbalance as well. These bullish 15-minute closures makes me think that price does want to continue up. You go down to the 1-minute time frame, you can notice this accumulation within here. Comes down, jumps back up, comes up in here, and then retests and comes up and hits the high. And it's like, okay, well, like, what do you think? Like, why would you even think of something like that? Why would there be a buy? But if you go down here, the 15-second, this is what I had up, where it came down again, shifted up higher, shifted down, shifted up again, and it used this breaker on the 15-second while being in the 5-minute volume imbalance, while being in the 315 to 345 macro, while having the drawn liquidity up higher. So there's a lot of confirmations on that for this type of situation. Notice the leg up, comes down, comes up, hits the breaker, then moves higher. Comes down, moves up, hit the breaker, moves higher. You know what I mean? So similar situation, bullish order flow, and that was it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up here. This is just the recap and also the projection that I have going forward. So let me know if you have any questions. Love y'all. Take it easy.